Sunday, August 5, at Lydda and Joppa. Peter was visiting the Christian communities through the coastal region of Judea. His purpose was probably to give them doctrinal instruction. See Acts 2:42.
And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread and in prayers.
But God used him powerfully to perform miracles in the same fashion as those performed by Jesus himself.
Read Acts chapter 9, verses 32 to 35.
And it came to pass, as Peter passed throughout all quarters, he came down also to the saints which dwelt at Lydda. And there he found a certain man named Aeneas, which had kept his bed 8 years, and was sick of the palsy. And Peter said unto him, Aeneas, Jesus Christ maketh thee whole. Arise, and make thy bed. And he arose immediately. And all that dwelt at Lydda and Saron saw him, and turned to the Lord.
And Luke 5:17 to 26.
And it came to pass on a certain day, as he was teaching, that there were Pharisees and doctors of the law sitting by, which were come out of every town of Galilee, and Judea, and Jerusalem. And the power of the Lord was present to heal them. And behold, men brought in a bed a man which was taken with a palsy. And they sought means to bring him in, and to lay him before him. And when they could not find by what way they might bring him in because of the multitude, they went upon the housetop, and let him down through the tiling with his couch into the midst before Jesus. And when he saw their faith, he said unto him, Man, thy sins are forgiven thee. And the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, Who is this which speaketh blasphemies? Who can forgive sins, but God alone? But when Jesus perceived their thoughts, he answering said unto them, What reason ye in your hearts? Whether is easier to say, Thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, Rise up and walk? But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath power upon earth to forgive sins, he said unto the sick of the palsy, I say unto thee, Arise, and take up thy couch, and go into thine house. And immediately he rose up before them, and took up that whereon he lay, and departed to his own house, glorifying God. And they were all amazed, and they glorified God, and were filled with fear, saying, We have seen strange things today.
What similarities do you see in the miracle of Jesus and the healing of Aeneas? Despite the brevity of the account, the miracle reminds us of a well-known story of the Capernaum paralytic healed by Jesus. Even the detail about the bed is similar. More important, however, was the impact of Aeneas' cure, not only in Lydda, but also in the coastal plain of Sharon. Having verified for themselves the reality of the miracle, many people turned to the Lord. Read Acts 9:36 to 43.
Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works, in alms deeds which she did. And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom when they had washed, they laid her in an upper chamber. And forasmuch as Lydda was nigh to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them. Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them. But Peter put them all forth, and kneeled down, and prayed, and turning him to the body said, Tabitha, rise. And she opened her eyes. And when she saw Peter, she sat up. And he gave her his hand, and lifted her up. And when he had called the saints and widows, presented her alive. And it was known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord. And it came to pass that he tarried many days in Joppa with one Simon, a tanner.
Review the story of Tabitha's resurrection. What was so special about her? Tabitha, the Aramaic for gazelle in Greek, Dorcas, was a believer very dear in her neighborhood because of her works of Christian charity. The story of her resurrection also parallels a miracle performed by Jesus, the resurrection of Jairus' daughter. You will see that at Luke 8:41 to 42.
And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue, and he fell down at Jesus' feet, and besought him that he would come into his house. for he had one only daughter about 12 years of age, and she lay a-dying. But as he went, the people thronged him.
49 to 56.
While he yet spake, there cometh one from the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying to him, Thy daughter is dead, trouble not the master. But when Jesus heard it, he answered him, saying, Fear not, believe only, and she shall be made whole. And when he came into the house, he suffered no man to go in, save Peter and James and John, and the father and the mother of the maiden. And all wept, and bewailed her, but he said, Weep not, she is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn, knowing that she was dead. And he put them all out, and took her by the hand, and called, saying, Maid, arise. And her spirit came again, and she arose straightway, and he commanded to give her meat. And her parents were astonished, but he charged them that they should tell no man what was done.
Which Peter had witnessed. Following Jesus' example, he asked everybody to leave the room. Then he knelt down and prayed, after which he called to the dead woman, Tabitha, get up. The apostles performed many miracles, yet, in fact, these were God's actions through the apostles' hands.
And by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people, and they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch.
The similarities with Jesus' own miracles were perhaps to remind the church, including us today, that what matters most is not so much who the instrument is, but the measure of his or her surrender to God.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father.
When we fully allow God to use us for the gospel's cause, great things can happen. Peter not only resurrected Tabitha, but the miracle also led to many conversions in Joppa.
And it was known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord.
Some people think that if only they could see a real miracle, such as what happened here, they would believe. And though at times miracles helped lead some people to faith, the Bible is filled with stories of those who saw miracles and still didn't believe. On what then should our faith be based? Hello, this is Winston Gilling. Some persons prefer watching or listening to reading. Others are pressed for time and would appreciate a resource to help them get through the lessons, hence these videos. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and share with others. Also, please subscribe to the channel to be alerted when daily lessons are posted. It also helps me to keep them coming. Thank you.